the astronomical heritage of pre-Hispanic societies in Venezuela, total eclipses of sun reported in petroglyphs. Unlike other regions of Meso and South America, in Venezuela there is no evidence of an ancestral material culture that accounts for the development of astronomy in the Neo-Indian period. The Lake of Valencia, Carabobo State in the central region is Vergarima Archaeological Complex, the most important lithic site of Venezuela, with an area of approximately 12 hectares. Characterized by the profusion and variety of its rock formations, expressed through megalithic alignments, rocky piles used in the delimitation of spaces, and above all by the existence of 100 rocks with petroglyphs in bas-relief. It is important to emphasize that the great majority of the petroglyphs are of a naturalist-realist type with a predominance of zoomorphic representations. The figurative features seem to indicate the importance of representing the surrounding natural world fauna, natural phenomena, etc. above that of the cultural world anthropomorphic representations, and suggests a society with a close dependence on nature. Maybe in an egalitarian tribal organization, where the shaman chief priest would have had an important role as a mediator between man-nature and the woman as a symbol of the reproduction of the human force of work. All the petroglyphs were etched in bas-relief. The petroglyphs don't show remains of any pigmentation. The false black or white color displayed is a photo manipulation to enhance the contrast. The grooves could have been made with hexagonal quartz crystal, abundant in the region, whose hardness is greater than metamorphic rocks of the substrate. The cuts, grooves and holes were made by successive drilling as evidenced by a half-finished rock found. Additionally, there are several petroglyphs with representations of simple geometric figures, points, circles, semicircles and lines. One interpretation is their association with the sun, half-moon and constellations, which could recall a possible and ancient eclipse of the sun. Using the Big Date in NASA Eclipse website, we found only 5 possible total solar eclipses in the Neo-Indian period 100 BC until the founding of Valencia. A natural spectacle such as a total eclipse of the sun would cause, by its very unexpected and temporary nature, a need for communication and recording. A calculation of the astronomical position allows a contrast of the relative position of the planets and brightest stars with the apparent position of the sun and the moon during the eclipse for the geographical coordinates of the Vajirima. In several petroglyphs a notable point is represented near the eclipsed sun. Only the eclipse of the year 577 presents Venus very close to the solar disk. Also, the foothills of the coastal mountain range limit the topographic horizon and visibility of eclipses near dawn and dusk. Only the eclipse of the year 577 occurred at midday, and it just had Venus very close to the zenith. There was even a petroglyph with a hole through the rock, surrounded by a bas-relief and with a representation of a nocturnal bird. The archaeological complex of Vajirima is within the zone of totality, almost on the maximum line. The archaeological ceramic remains allow dating the occupation of the site between the 3rd and 8th centuries. The ceramic chronology and the stylistic analysis of the petroglyphs coincide with the eclipse of the 577 year. In the Venezuelan Andean foothills of the Barinas state, there also are many sites with ancient rupstrical art expression. All are petroglyphs in bas-relief, without pigmentation and isolates of the other archaeological evidence. The extensive area under study covers the northern or Andean foothills in 3 municipalities of the Barinas state, around of the Bumbum town. The petroglyphs in Bumbum archaeological complex are not grouped together but rather scattered, mostly on streams and rivers, or in erratic blocks of the alluvial valleys in the plains east of the Andean mountain range. The Bum-Bum petroglyphs present a greater profusion of details and a more elaborate abrasion technique, however stylistic similarities suggest that they were made by Araquinoid groups that migrated to the western plains between the 10th and 12th centuries. We also find astrological signs that could represent a solar eclipse. Is it the same eclipse that Vijayarima saw? The eclipse of the year 577 was not visible in that region. Using the big data of NASA website, there are 5 possibilities. The Andean mountain range to the northwest of the region limits the topographic horizon and the visibility of eclipses, suggesting the total solar eclipse of 1378 as the only possible. This eclipse was especially remarkable with almost 7 minutes of duration during the maximum. It occurred at midday with an altitude of 78 and with the 5 brightest objects in the sky after the Sun and the Moon. A phenomenon so unique and spectacular as a solar eclipse happened at midday, had to have a mark on the collective memory and shamanic practices associated. The probable view of the sky in Bum-Bum shows the eclipse at 1:17 p.m., with an eclipse lasting 7 minutes at maximum and a temperature drop of up to 10 degrees in a tropical region. Such an unusual event must have motivated its imperishable communication and recording, with the only means available, engraving on rocks. The high frequency of representations of nature at a figurative level, in comparison with the anthropomorphic representations, indicate the importance of representing the surrounding natural world and suggests a society with a close dependence of the individual on nature. The stylistic similarity in the Vijayarima and Bum-Bum petroglyphs shows that they were made by ethnic groups of Araquinoid origin that moved from the basin of Lake Valencia to the Andean Piedmont between the XIV centuries in accordance with the ancestral settlement of Venezuela. The contemplation of the total solar eclipse must lead to the need of communication and recording, employing the techniques and means at their disposal, the engraved rocks. We have seen how big data in astronomy also allows the reconstruction of ancient ethnology, understanding the archaeological significance and cultural heritage of a particular region. Thank your attention.